Alright, I remember. Can you pause it? Okay, question number 2. If I were to say to you something, the question is, would you say, no, absolutely not? The most important, most good, most useful, most worth keeping, maybe only good, and, well, depending how you use the word good, thing that has happened in the last 2,000 years is neuroscience. And let me just rephrase it to just try to see whether I can avoid an absolutely not. By neuroscience, what I mean, of course, is its definition, the study of the human mind. So the understanding, the human understanding of human understanding. Not that we have that yet, but just the fact that we know that this is where these cognitive mechanisms are happening, and these are some of the rules that they play by. That would be the realest, most important thing of the last 2,000 years in human development. If you looked at a timeline of the species, you've got tools, like first basic tool use, you've got language, you've got writing, and then you've got the realization, the knowledge of what they are, the ability to properly have...
human beings realize that the brain produces thought?
In some senses, they already have. But really, I don't know. Next generation?
That's a question.
Huh?
I wonder when in history...
Oh, in history it didn't happen. Well, they know that they associate the brain with thoughts, but they don't understand that the brain is the thought machine.
How do you know that?
Because of the interviews we've done. You were there for them.
The interviews? No, I'm not talking about people we meet in the street. I'm talking about philosophers and psychologists and so on and so forth.
The last 100 years. Last 100 years.
You know that?
I don't like the word no, especially said like that.
100 years is 1923. I think we knew before.
120, 30 years. So basically, Phineas Gage was in 1848, I think. Phineas Gage was in 1848. We see a rod goes through his brain, and his personality, his thoughts, his everything is changed. Okay, that's major news. Okay, then we get William James, turn of the 20th century, who was, wrote the Principles of Psychology, and he starts talking about some of these sort of biological mechanisms. Then you've got more research into sort of brain damage, bodies being opened up, because bodies weren't even opened up for a long time, and then you're seeing all these physical trauma.
When you say they weren't opened up, what do you mean by they weren't opened up?
They weren't opened up and studied cause of death. For a while, first of all, the hunters and gatherers weren't opening up the bodies. Then for a while, there were religious rites and stuff that protected a lot of bodies. And then, it took a while for there to be science and stuff like that for us to be investigating. Yeah, and the Egyptians thought that the brain cooled the blood. So they certainly, even though they were opening up bodies, they didn't figure out what the brain was. So yeah, and then you have Paul Broca, right? French physician, realizes that this produces speech production based on lesions. I think that's in the 19th century, maybe 20th century, not the 18th century. So we'll take it. There is the knowledge that we are brains has existed for about 200 years, we'll say. But the real understanding that we are brains is coming. And anyway, so that 200-year period, or 300 years, I don't know how long it's going to take. I think that will be the most important development since, basic communication stuff. So, do you say absolutely not?
I don't know. I don't know.
You don't know whether you say absolutely not?
I don't know the answer to that question.
You don't know the answer to what question?
The question you asked me.
What question did I ask you?
Well, you know it, right?
No.
You asked it.
Oh, okay. But I don't know it.
Is that as neuroscience? Is that the most important thing to have been in the last 2,000 years?
Yeah, but
I'll say evolution was.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That changed pretty much everything.
Yeah. And neuroscience and the understanding that I have of the mind wouldn't be possible if it weren't for an understanding of natural selection. What if we looked at evolution as being 2/3 of it, and then neuroscience as being almost an application of it, understanding how biological development makes us what we are, what we see, what we think, what we experience, everything.
Okay, we'll go with that.